welcome. I am so glad that you are here. Now, this isn't episode 1. Not yet. This is a threshold, a sacred pause, a deep breath before the real story begins. Because today, Tuesday, 24th of June, 2025, it is not just any day. It is my daughter's birthday. She's turning 29 today. And as I am sitting here in front of me, my heart a little tender, I realize something has shifted. Not loudly, not all at once, but quietly, deeply, irrevocably. For the past few years, I have been writing under the name The Path Unveiled. It was about peeling back layers, unraveling what no longer fit, exploring my identity, my beliefs, my motherhood, my leadership. It was reflective, gentle. It looked back. But today, something is changing because I no longer just unveil what once was. I'm living it. I am becoming it. So here it is. The path unveiled is becoming. Unveil the path. No past tense, present, active, and alive. This podcast, this space is for the quiet brave, for those of us who have worn masks for decades, for those who were told that they were too much, too sensitive, too intense, too slow, too fast, too everything. This isn't just a podcast. It is a remembering, a becoming, a space to exhale. And it begins here with a story, my story, her story, our story. So let me take you back. I was always a reader. Words wrapped themselves around me. But writing, I remember spelling Jesus as Jesus in a grade 2 test. I had written it phonetically, innocently, but my teacher didn't see innocence. She saw rebellion. She called me ungodly. And that holiday, I sat at my grandmother's table and I wrote Jesus' name 100 times every day, trying to earn my way back into belonging. Back then, I didn't know I had dyslexia. I only knew I felt broken. It would take years before anyone gave a name to that. Years before I understood that dyslexia isn't about laziness or intelligence. It is about wiring. It's about how the brain receives, holds, and expresses information. Couldn't memorize things unless I understood them. Rote learning felt like pouring water into a sieve. But if someone explained it, if I could see the why, I remembered it forever. Biology, the mitosis, meiosis, I couldn't make sense of it. Even with my mum, who is a qualified hospital nurse sister, couldn't grasp it. It was too abstract for me. I was like a puppy in gymnastics. Long limbs, no coordination, covered in bruises. My teacher begged my mum to pull me out of the program. Eventually, she did, and I was heartbroken. But she wasn't punishing me. She was just protecting me against myself. But then I didn't know it. I didn't understand it. So let's move forward a little bit. In my final year of college, my mum quietly enrolled me into a studying method course because she just believed in me but didn't know how to help me, because she needed help to help me. And that course changed everything. They introduced me to brain profiling. Mine was radically right-brained. They taught me mind mapping, and suddenly the fog lifted. For the first time, learning made sense. Then came Dr. Melanie de Jager. She ran another brain profile in 2007 through her program called Mind Moves. She looked at the results, she looked at me, and then she asked, can you read? Can you write? I nodded, confused. She smiled. You shouldn't be able to. Not with this profile. It is that rare, she said. But I could read, I could write. because my mum taught me long before the world had language for what I was fighting against. I was 30 years old when I was diagnosed as gifted. I know, gifted. Me, it sounds like a plot twist somewhere, but it happened while I was supporting my daughter while we are going through a divorce. She was okay, surprisingly okay. The psychologist even said it's better for a child to live in a peaceful environment than to watch her parents fight every day. But then she looked at me. Would you mind if I assess you? She asked me. Apparently, I spoke about myself in the third person. I learned that it was a coping mechanism. So she said, a way of creating distance. 2 days, 3 assessments later, and then the results. IQ in the top 0.01% of the population. I laughed. And then I cried. Because how do you reconcile a lifetime of feeling stupid with a label like giftedness? Giftedness is misunderstood. It is not neat handwriting and high grades. It's intensity, sensory overload, deep empathy. It is brilliance wrapped in chaos, insight that overwhelms, performance that masks pain. I learned later about the hyper-brain, hyper-body connection. Gifted people often experience the world more deeply and much more chaotically. It helped explain so much about me and about her. Let me introduce you to Mary. I met Mary in 7. I was locked outside of my new school gate. She was locked inside. Her car stuck behind the gate. She yelled, "If you can drive me home, it's my daughter. Drop her at school. I will let you in." I said yes. Well, what else was there to say? We had no clue what that yes would cost us, or rather gift us. From that day on, we shared every kind of ship: friendship, hardship, leadership, courtship, mentorship, fellowship. We laughed, we wept, we helped each other through diagnosis and divorce. And one Wednesday afternoon, with the kids refusing to get out of the car, she took us to the beach. It was a gloomy, rainy day, but I ran barefoot across the stormy beach in a white dress, flapping around me. Mary watched. She didn't flinch. She just held space. That is who she is. One night, pizza in hand, coffee in the other, we sat watching our kids play in the garden, lost in their imaginary game, sword fighting. She turned to me and she said, "Don't you think that she's maybe on the spectrum?" She meant Urintia, my daughter. We looked at each other, we looked at her, and then we dismissed it. No language delay, no trouble with eye contact, no repetitive movements, just intensity, sensitivity, brilliance. We didn't know better at that time. Not then. When Urintia was 16, we moved to the United Arab Emirates. She entered a new school system, and in grade 10, she was handed a major project, the kind students work towards over a 10-year time period in an IB curriculum school. She has been there only for 2 months. And 8 months later, not 8 years, 8 months, she scored a perfect 7 out of 7, the highest that you can score in a personal project. We thought she was okay, but she was burning out. That year, she was misdiagnosed with bipolar disorder. I believed it until a teacher said, "I've taught bipolar students before. Your daughter is not bipolar." That cracked something open. We saw the top psychiatrist here in Dubai. He said that she was brilliant, we know, but depressed. We tried meds. They didn't work. We stopped. In December of 2018, my mum came to visit. She watched, gently concerned. In 2019, Urintia joined an architect's firm. Training was a 6-month program. Her mentor was too busy to guide and mentor her. So she did what she always does. She taught herself. And 2 months later, she has mastered the system. Her boss was shocked, but she was crumbling. And in April, she collapsed emotionally. I took her to a trusted clinic. The junior doctor gave her endless forms to fill in. One question was, how do you feel? Rinsha asked, right now, this week, this morning, this year. They told her to not overthink it. Just answer the first thing that pops into your mind. But for someone who masks, that was overthinking. She was trying to survive. She was trying to give the right answer, and she didn't know what to do. So I did what every desperate mother do. I Googled. And that is when I found Tanya Marshall, a psychologist from Australia. Her work on autism on girls and women, it was like reading a map of my own daughter. Every trait, every nuance, every pain, it all made sense. I sent the articles to the clinic. They didn't read them. They diagnosed depression again. They referred us back again. We didn't go. Then COVID hit us. And for the first time, therapy via Zoom became possible. Thank you, COVID. In May of 2020, I reached out to Tanya Marshall, a psychologist in Australia. 6 months later, we had a name. Tanya worked with her for 6 months before giving her a diagnosis of Asperger's syndrome. Now it's called autism. It was not at the end. That was just the beginning. At 25, Rinsha finally had a language for her life. In 2021, she began working with my cousin, Fritz Fensham, a neuroscience-based coach who didn't push her to perform. What he did was taught her to pause, to recognize when her nervous system was shutting down, to name her needs, and to stop pretending. He gave her tools, he gave her compassion, and he gave her a language for what she was feeling her whole life. He helped her to brief everything. And then came the 24th of June, 2022, 26th birthday. We were in the Dubai Mall, popcorn, movie tickets, ready to celebrate. And then came a phone call. I still don't know what it was about. I still don't know what was said. And I didn't know it. But we watched the movie unknowing what happened. And after the movie, she collapsed right there in the corridor of the Dubai Mall. Tears, shame, silence. Everything changed. She was supposed to start university. That came to a pause. Functioning impossible. So then we searched again and we found Dr. B. Thank you, Susie from GEMS. He didn't rush. He didn't label. He didn't diagnose. He just said, her nervous system is in overdrive. We can't assess yet. First, we restore safety. That was 3 years ago. Today, she is still in weekly therapy sessions with Dr. Bino, still healing, still learning to live without the mask. And me, through her healing, I saw myself. At the age of 52, I was diagnosed with Asperger's-like profile. I wasn't broken. I was wired so differently. And for the first time in my life, I stopped apologizing for it. Now, the path unveiled became Unveil the Path. It isn't a title, it is a way of being. So to you, listening right now, maybe you have walked beside a child that you didn't fully understand either. Maybe you are that child, now all grown up. Maybe you have been praised for masking and punished for being too much, too intense, too vibrant, too loud, too everything. Let me say this plainly to you. You are not alone. You are not too much. And your timing is sacred. Coming this July 2025, Unveil the Path, a podcast, a blog, a journaling companion for you. Together, we will explore 12 pillars of coming, all around the theme of be, gently, honestly, bravely, at your own pace. To my daughter, Rinsha, thank you for being the path. Thank you for not pretending to be okay so that I could stop pretending too. And to you listening, thank you for walking beside us. This is only the beginning. Your path is sacred. Your pace is enough. You are not alone. I'll see you in our first episode of July. Until then, unveil the path.